Well, hello, and welcome to another lesson of the Focus on DatoCMS course. I am Marcelo Lewin, the Headless Creator. As always, get a hold of me right there, Marcelo at headlesscreator.com. Any questions, comments, any ideas, send me an email. I'll get back to you. Today, I have a special guest presenter. His name is Mateo Papadopoulos. He's the CTO at Cantiere Creativo, and I hope you like that accent. I tried really hard. And today he's going to show us how to work with the DatoCMS authoring tool and how to make that experience better for our authors. Because remember, at the end of the day, our authors have to live with this experience and manage all the content for their website. Now, with that said, let's bring on Mateo. Mateo, welcome.
Hi, Marcelo.
Nice to
Thanks
have
for
you
having
here.
me.
Thank you for joining me.
I think it's an honor.
So,
Thank you.
from 1 to 10, how was my Italian pronunciation? And be honest,
Yeah,
I won't. My feelings won't hurt.
honestly, it was perfect because you have two very difficult words. This one is Papadopoulos, that is not Italian, but is Greek surname.
Right.
That's because of my. And the second one is Cantiere Creativo. That usually is people are struggling saying that is not the best name for English speaking people. And you're pretty good, very good. So
Okay, I feel much
glad.
better now. Thank you very much. Thank you very. I tried hard. Okay, very good. Well, everybody knows, or some people know, that I'm Argentinian, but born, and there's a lot of Italians, and Argentinians, I think, have a lot of mannerisms of Italians as well. So I think that's why it becomes a little bit easier to pronounce. But anyway, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you, and then we'll jump into your presentation. But we'd love to learn a little bit about you. How did you get into technology?
Well, I'm not at ketos anymore, and even if I'm almost 50, so I started using computers in the 80s, as most of us as geeks. Uh, Started with the Commodore 64, trying learning how to code with BASIC, and then uh, I started and I went ahead doing the graphic design, desktop publishing, and the stuff for almost all the 90s. And then went. I discovered that the web on the early 2000s, and I started doing the front end side, and I started working there. It was there that I discovered the object oriented with the action script of Flash. There was the great years
Right.
for most of us. And then I started doing the front end, and I never stopped to do both. I love to code, but I'm not as a real good developers. That I have to admit that I work with stunning developers with
Right.
me, and but do the front end part. I love it.
What attracted you to the Commodore or computers when you were a kid? Because my first computer, and we're about the same age. I'm a little bit older than you. I'm going to be 55. I'm 54 right now, and I my first computer was a VIC 20. So,
Yeah.
but I had the 64 as well. What attracted you to computers?
Well, I was attracted. To be honest, it was frustrating for me for a long time. It was frustrating because I had no developers around me in my family or nowhere, so I was alone. And that time, of course, there was no internet or any kind of sources. So I was buying these magazines at the newspaper shop, and I was 8, 9,
Yeah.
and I was trying to copy these fragments of basics, and no one of them worked for me. To me, so I thought that I was absolutely stupid at the time, and programming was not for me, and that's why I went to the design part of the computer. But I was spending a lot of time there, and that attracted me a lot. And of course, at that age, I was playing video games a lot.
Of course. Of course.
Seamless at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Commodore 64 was for that.
Yeah. So how did you get into headless? I mean, obviously you work with Data CMS, but how did you just get into headless itself?
Well, and of course, we are super engaged with DatoCMS because Stefano, that is the CEO of Dato, is one of our partners in the agency, and we work together, and we're still working together. And as an agency serving multi customers, doing custom softwares, web-oriented software. And we tried to make at least 3 CMSs during the years, and of course WordPress was a status quo, and
Right.
we discovered that time that there was thousands of CMS, thousands of projects that were and all of them were failing in at that time. And at a certain point, we had the idea that maybe we're doing always the same thing. We were doing the admin part in Ruby on Rails, and it was too much for a certain type of websites and for customers. So we started the first version of DatoCMS. Stefano did was I don't know how to say in English, a REPL, maybe an REPL. It's with the SLI interface to write
Right.
the models through a terminal.
Mm.
And we made our website, and we started using it, and for many customers. It was at least 6 years ago, so it was very early
So
stage of
started out of a
the
need, of an
headless.
internal need.
Yeah, it was an internal need to give a tool to our customers and to make static websites.
Yeah.
Static websites has been, of course, the entry point for the headless, and of course now it's completely
Right.
a
It
different
evolved.
thing. You know?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Definitely. Cool.
and
Oh, go ahead. Finish
so
your thought.
no. So let's start if you
Yeah,
wish.
let's start. I know people want to see how to expand that author or how to enhance that authoring experience. So I'm going to go ahead and show your screen right now.
Yeah.
For those of you that are, before we get started, I just want to clear for them. For those of you watching live, there's the chat. Feel free to type in questions in the chat if you have any questions. I'll ask Mateo. Mateo, if I have questions, I'll jump in. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and let you take over, and let's go for it.
Yeah. Okay. No. Now, before. Okay. Today, this topic is about enhancing the DatoCMS authoring experience, but maybe I'm going to ask you to allow me to better explain the aim of this session. Okay, before showing the hands-on, because during the years I saw a lot of many developers or administrators, if you prefer, doing great architectures on DatoCMS, and the user experience of Dato is terrific. This is the one of the strongest feedback Dato receives. I know that, and modeling is definitely easy and fast. And as developers, we are usually happy to create the fields that we need to test the GraphQL, and then see the data showing up on our website. And yes, the front end is where we have a lot of fun. So as soon as we made our models, we start doing the front end. But I don't know how to say, that's great, but because of the briskness, we have sometimes the results for the editor is not the most outstanding experience they can have, because maybe we can do something for them. They are, as you said before, they are the persons that are actually using the CMS every single day. So we have to think about them. We have to work with them. We need them to love the CMS, the headless tools, all of them. No, but of course, the CMS is the most useful. We need them to love it if we want to continue using this kind of technology. So I think it would be nice if we pay attention and put some care in making an admin more friendly for them. So as I said, Dato was born in an agency as an internal need, so they perfectly know how to the importance of this topic, and Dato offers a few features that we can use to reach our goal. But first, I think I should I should preface this by saying that not everything is a matter of UI, of the user interface of a certain tool. So then something should be addressed uh, by the training that we may provide to the editors. And as an admin, maybe we know the data better than them. And I think we have responsibility to do it. Also consider that they probably they don't have, or they shouldn't have, the permissions to change the model, the fields, and the way they say things. So we have to do the expert. What I suggest is often is to work with them. To while we're modeling, we should stay next to them and ask them the way they write an article, because every editor is different, and so the way they use the blog, or they do the product, the details of a product. um and okay, but let's see. I just wanted to say something before they start to
I think those are great
so,
points, because it's like content governance, and also I'm very passionate about what you said, which is, and let's jump in because people want to see this. But just to close that up, is retraining authors into the new paradigm. It's very different than the old CMS style,
yeah.
regardless of which headless CMS. It's a new paradigm, a new way of thinking, and a lot of it isn't just like you said UX UI. A lot of it is just retraining authors. But with that said, I know people want to see the stuff. Let's get to it.
Okay, so let's start. So I have prepared an environment for this demo, for this session, and that is an absolutely classic. It's a bookshop with books, author, and collections, and blah blah blah. I took this project since it's an open project, so I can use the data we have. Uh, how can I say? We have actual content. Then I can show you. I can use to show you details, and we can freely play with it. So the only thing is, I'm sorry that the content is in Italian, but I think it's absolutely not a problem, because I guess it will not a problem. So first thing first, when we start a new project, so let's pretend we start from a clean, with a clean session. What the first things we usually do is to set the environment of data. So for the editors, it's quite important to find a friendly environment when they start using, when they enter for the very first time, and when they use the tool for of the company they work for. So maybe the company has the brand colors, so we can personalize data for that. Maybe for us as a developers, it's totally secondary, but you can use it. Of course, I'm trying. I'll do it for Cantiere Creativo's color. Maybe we have a blue, we have an accent colors. We can add a logo. So let's upload it. I can use maybe the white one for the top bar. Let's say this. Whoops. No, that's not whoops. That's a nice feature of Data. We're not going into all of the feature for editing, but when you upload an image, an asset that you already have uploaded before, Data recognizing, and it's asking, do you want to keep the user existing assets, or keep and uploading a new file? And of course, we're going to use it. And the last thing you have here is the time zone. It's quite important, because editors often want to publish a certain content later, and maybe tomorrow at midnight. So the time zone is quite important to have the right time for publishing. And so I started from this very simple part, because I wanted to show something. So here on the left-hand side, you can see I'm working with a window, and I have the same window open on the right-hand side. I'm with the same user, so you can simply copy and paste the URL. And Dato has this nice behavior that as soon as you save something, uh, the things you're saving will be shown up to any editors or users that are connected in that very moment. So when you're modeling, if you move fields, if you change everything, you are able to see what you're doing. So this is very nice if you keep the two windows open, that you can see what you're doing while you're modeling something. You can see the result of that. There are just a few things that you can see. For example, the logo here, you have to reload, but that's totally secondary. The next time, of course, you will see. So let's start doing our first model. As I told you, we have a bunch of models already in this project. Let's pretend this is a clean one. So I want to show you how to make we want to make a book, and I already have a book, so I have to use a different name. And I thought maybe Tom is could be a good name. It's not a single instance because we're going to do the collection of books. I'm not here to teach how to create models and fields, so I go a little bit quick on this. So because I also know that Marcelo is going to show you in another session. So we want to add a few fields. For example, as a books, we want to have a title, of course. And now what I can do, I can go to the content. We have a tome here in my sidebar, create a new record. And as you can see, I see the title. Okay, let's say that I add a few of them. Maybe we have a description, and I added as a structured text description. Say field, I don't care. I'm doing the details of this. And as you can see, as soon as I create a new field, you will see it here, and it's ready to use. Okay. So let's add, for example, we can add, for example, the rating of the book. On our e-commerce, we might have a rating. Let's say that is an integer number. And let's say that we want to add, for example, let's say that we have, let me see, I have prepared a bunch of fields, and maybe we want to add a link to another model that are the author of the book, maybe the author should be better. And okay, the presentation, of course, the validation, we have to add to link it to the author here. And what we have, title, description, rating. Maybe we want to add something about the CEO. We want to add a slug. The slug for the validation, we need to tell them that what's the fields referred. So the slug is referred to the title, so that you can create the value. And maybe we also add the CEO meta tag that are useful to the editors. And okay, let's save it. As you can see, we are having the fields on the right. What is nice is that as soon as you want to move, for example, this fields, the changes I do with the title I put to the very bottom, they happen real time. So if you work with an editor, maybe he's connected, and he can tell you, please move these fields on the bottom or upper because I want them. Now I want to use it as a very first fields or not. So here we saw how to create fields, and let me add something else because maybe we need also a media. Maybe we need a cover, of course. That is just a media to load the image, the cover of the book. And maybe we want the cover on the top. And we also want, there is a new fields, the ESPN, that is the ID of a book, the serial book number, and that are usually a unique number. Okay, so we have a bunch of items. So as developers, we might be happy to have this fields. We can start adding content here. If I say, let's add, I have something here. Let's add Harry Potter and blah blah blah. Let's add an image. I have prepared Harry Potter here. Upload. Yes, use the existing one, and I can save it. And okay, boom, we're ready. We can go, and maybe I can also add the back cover just to and the here. So we would be ready to start developing our website, but this is it's a little bit poor interface. So the first thing we should add, useful for us and for the editor, are the validations. Validations are super important, even if for the editors might be a little bit annoying, because they sometimes they want to save things like I did now, but we want to have solid data. We can have a better experience as a developers. And so, for example, title and validations on that are super powerful. So we can say, for example, that the title is a required field. We can make a book without a title. And as soon as we save, Dato will add, hopefully here, please, Dato, please show me the link. Okay, let me see. Sorry. Validations required. It's required. I don't know why. Oh God, no, sorry. It's required, and it just added stars on the title. I thought it was adding a hint. And for example, the ESPN validation, you can say that is a unique field, is required, and you want to limit the character between, not must be exactly 16, for example. And as soon as when you add this validation, Dato adds the hint in the bottom of the fields. But you can also, and this is what's just not happening now, and we can also add hint, and please add use official cover image. Okay. Save, and validation are different between to the different kind of item types. For example, images, if we go to the validations, we have maybe we can specify the file size, or maybe the extension, or the image dimension if the required title. So if we do all these things, editors will be forced to write better content. This is super good for us and for them, and at the end, because you have them not making errors on the content. The third part I want to show you here is the usage of the field set. Field set are a way to group in a logical way the fields of a certain model. And for example, I want to add fields for the CO. What I suggest is to use emoji. They're very nice to help editors understanding the logical field. And for example, I want to add the CO, and I can add please don't miss the CO is important. For example, just to say something stupid here, say fields. And when we have a field set, we can move field into the field set. Here, I can put the slug and the CO, for example. And here, what's happening is that you can see that we have a group of these fields now here. Now, field set can also be collapsible, and you can choose to show them collapsed initially. So if they are collapsible, it's could be nice for them, because maybe you have a section that could be quite big, and you don't want to see them. You want to see all of the fields. And for example, in a book like this, you don't have to change all of the details quite often. Maybe there are a few fields that you want to change, maybe the rating because it changes during the time, but the title is the title. So what we can do is to add, for example, the details, book details, and everything about the book. It's collapsible. I want to show this collapsed initially. I love to use it collapsed initially. We can move up, and as you can see here, we're gonna see this. Okay, book details, and we're gonna put maybe the title in it, and the cover, the ID, and maybe the description, and I don't know, the author. Okay, and we put the rating at the top because our editor is saying that they change this value quite often. And so as you can see here, maybe I can add just another example here, that maybe we have the name of the translator, and add a new field. Maybe we also have the original language. Save fields. We had, and we can add a British flag, for example, just to say, and we say this internationalization, everything about it. We're gonna put it, the fields that we have created, translator and original language here. And maybe internationalization is more important than the SEO. So when an editor come into the fields, you will see the, okay, we have to save this. We have to add this. Okay, let's say that we save it. Okay. So next things I want to show you.
Quick question for you.
Yeah.
Can collapsible, or what did you call that field type? The nested, like the grouping type. What is that called again?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't get the question.
The nested field, where you can nest other fields. What is that one called? Can those have other nested fields in it? In other words, can you have a group inside of a group?
No, it's no.
It's a single layer.
No, it's a single layer. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And so, and another usage that we often see is when you have a multi-channel, for example, experience, that you have a book that is for the website, but it also provide the data for the e-commerce or whatever. You can add the field set, for example, for let's say the mobile device is different from the website. Let's say that we have a phone, and this is mobile details. And here we can, maybe we have a structured text that is mobile, description for mobile channel now, and description for mobile, of course. And this is another way to use field set. It's maybe in the details here. Editors might have the book details they write, but for the mobile, they just want to use a shorter version of the description of the book. Now let's go ahead and jump to the plugin section. Now, DatoCMS offers a bunch of plugins. The plugins are applications that can control or the single field, or can be applied on the ISAD bar of a specific model. There are a lot of plugins that are made by the community, by the users. You can find a lot of them. Most of them are nice for the developers, but you can find something for editors, for example, conditional fields or the hidden fields that maybe we need to have. I want to show you 3 of them. And the first one, and installing a plugin is quite easy. You go into the plugin section, you just add, and I want to show, for example, a plugin to manage the rating. Now here it's quite easy because if we add a validation that we can't have a rating 16 because the range is 0 to 5, and it's okay, but the editor should write here 3 and save, and it's okay. But what if we can have stars, for example? So here we have for a star rating editor plugin, thanks to Irene Solidus that did it. We can install it, and you already have it. This kind of plugin is super easy. And we go back to the models, and we find tome here that we are doing. And this plugin is a presentation plugin. Edit fields, we go to the presentation. This is an integer. It will remain an integer in the database and the value that we get into the front end side. But the presentation here, instead of the default editor that Data provides as an input, we can say use the start editing, the star rating editor. We can choose simply how many stars we want. The colors, we are blue as a brand, so let's say that we are blue. Save the fields, and magically we're gonna have the stars. Okay, so here for the editor, it's much nicer to say, oh, this book is 2 or 5, and that's it. And so we have there are a lot of plugins, and some of them are plugin related to JSON file. For example, here we have sidebar notes. Sidebar notes might be nice when there are more than an editor working on the same project, maybe and we can leave message or just a sticky note for ourselves. If I add a JSON and I say I add a note, a JSON field, and I add a note here, sorry, forgot to do it. And as a presentation, instead of the default editor, I want to use a sidebar note. Save fields. And here, what's happening here, that we will have a new section. It's appeared, have you seen it? Notes, where I can add a post-it, just a post-it. And I can say, Marcelo, please check the cover. No, and that's it. The next time an editor, and we save, and an editor comes, can see this simple message that, or maybe I want to remind myself to do something on this specific record. Another one is the Next.js preview links, for example. If you, of course, this is useful if you use Next.js as a framework to build the front end side, and Next.js has this special feature that is super powerful that allows the editor to see a record, to see the preview before building the website. And usually there is an API folders where you can write your function for the preview, and you have to share with the editors a special URL with like a token, a password, something like that, to enable the preview not as a static source but as a dynamic source. And with this kind of plugin, you will save a lot of time for your editor. It's exactly the same things. Let's go back to the tome editor, to the tome model. I add a new JSON field, and I would call it preview, for example. And I said that the presentation is just an Next.js preview. Now, some plugins require params, okay, to work. This one, of course, it wants to know what will be the slug of the URL, the final URL of this book, the web page of the book. Let's say that we have books, and then we use this slug field. This is the name of the field that I made. Let's save it, and if I'm lucky here again, okay, let's say that we have now the editor has a preview. So it started writing, and now he have he's able to push this button and jump directly to the preview of this content, even if it's not published. Of course, if I do it now, I don't have an application. I have a 404. But as you can see in the URL, we have an API preview and the slug with the Harry Potter slug. So you can check the plugins, and there are a lot of things, but this is something nice we can do for them.
Quick question for you on that.
Yeah.
So here we added a preview for the website, right? Running on Next.js. What if we want to preview a mobile app, or let's say an IoT app like a Alexa app or something that we have a special app? Can we add previews for those, or is it only right now for?
Yes, of course you can, but of course you have to write the function on the specific environment you're developing. The only thing that DatoCMS provides through the APIs, provide the contents even in a draft mode. So if you use the token with the that's have the rights, the permission to get the draft content, you can show it wherever you want.
So they would have multiple buttons there on the right. That one that says website.
No. Of course, this is specific for Next.js.
Got it.
So you can, but you can write your own. This is just a simple. It's a 15 lines of React application. That you can write, and you can save it as a plugin, and you can load for all of your editors for the environment. As an admin, you can set all the plugins that
Got it.
want.
So you would write your own plugin to allow for previewing whatever you want.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. And so next thing is I would like to jump in the usage of not the usage of the media gallery, but in something special that is something that could be useful for the editors. The media gallery of data is quite powerful. You can, I don't want to show you everything about that, but you can take a look you can search for maybe logo, and I don't know, and all the logos comes up, and maybe you can do a lot of things. One of these is super useful for the editors is the focal point. Focal point is something that can save a lot of time to them, because editors often need to think of the images for the resources for the different viewports, mobiles, the web, or responsive images, and blah 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 blah. Okay, and if I'm gonna take it bigger here just to show you, maybe you see it better, and I can choose on DatoCMS directly. Editors can choose which is the focal point of this image. Let's say this is the eye, but I can say this is the neck here. And as you can see on the right side, it shows you a previews of different sizes of this image. Let's say that on top right, that's mobile. It's a portrait mobile device. So editors knows how the image will be presented on the front end. This is really useful, and even for us, I want to show you as developers how to get the point and to get the URL and the data of this image. And you can also add, I want to show you this. This is the thing that you should teach and you should explain to your editors, because maybe they want to know. They can change the name of the file. This is a special feature. It's quite simple, but from the CEO point of view, it's really important. Files names are really important. So if they added a screenshot, maybe, and they can rename it. Of course, they have the regular metadata, but they can add metadata, and you can agree to let them use. And you can also replace an asset, because sometimes you ask your editors to fill all these fields. You can add tags, and Dato also offer the smart tags that Dato try to guess, and through the AI, the subjects or this of the image automatically, so you can use them on your search. So sometimes editors write a lot of information here, and they don't want to lose it, and they can replace the asset. This means you can upload a new version of this image, a completely different if they want, or maybe a better version of the same image that's better, without losing the entire set of information. And this is important to let them know that they can do it, because it can let them save a lot of time. Let's go back to the information. Let's say this custom required, we don't need it. Let's say that we have this URL here. This is the URL of the image, and let's say that, okay, we have it. And if we add a few params, DatoCMS offers the image through EMGX, that is a service that provide the image. Now we have the cropped image. So the crop is not centered here where we said, just because I just copied and paste the wrong values. If we change the values here, let's say that on the X, I say let's say 30, maybe I will have something different, 30. Now, how can I know the coordinates of this image? We can have it through the lens. So I have to identify the ID of the image, that I think is this one. Cancel and save. Let's say that we save it. Okay, and if we go into the API Explorer, let's say, oh, maybe I tried and this is the right one. Okay, let's say that we use the GraphQL Explorer here.
Let's make the font a little larger for the Explorer.
Yep, sorry. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect.
Is
Thank
okay?
you. Yep, much better. Thank you.
Okay, so in the uploads, I can query the upload, and I can query, of course, the ID of the image. I can get the file name, and I can get the X and the Y of the focal point, and then I can ask the URL of this image. And when I run the query here, the result is this on my JSON. So I will have exactly the value of the focal point. So here, if I try to use this, I'm sure it's not. No, okay. I know why. Because I haven't run maybe this. I haven't run the query. Let me see. No, it's not working. Okay, live.
I think it's because we need to set the width, right? If you want to show.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the main
thing.
So
we don't. Dato, of course, doesn't know the width and the height you want to show. This is something you have to pass as a params in your front end. And let's say that we want an image 100 pixel and Y like 400 pixel. Let's check. No, come on. No, that's I want to show you something. If you don't, let's say this is when we request a crop version of the image without specifying a crop mode. Dato is quite clever that we'll automatically center the crop at the focal point. This is an important part. So if I don't ask Dato for a focal point here, and let's say that crop focal point. Wow. I'm doing something wrong because I'm quite I don't know why. But by the way, let's say that we don't have this and we don't specify a crop and we don't ask for this, and we run this query fit crop and focal point. Okay, I don't remember that. I'm sorry.
I think we need to set a, if we just set a width, it may work actually. If you set a width in here too, set a W.
Yeah.
In
I
the
wonder.
GraphQL.
Yeah.
Set a W there and make it maybe like width.
Yeah, we do it. And let's say 100. And let's say height, the H is 400. Export,
and now let's get
let's
that.
say, okay, and let's say that we have a focal point here. I never found it. Let's say, where is it? Come on.
I think you already put the focal point as X and Y already. It's already in the query.
Focal point, yeah, that's where is it? Drop focal point. Oh my God, too many fields. But by the way, I'm wasting a lot of time here about these things.
That's okay, but we understand the point. The point behind this is that you can set a focal point, right?
Exactly. Even if you don't do all this stuff on the query, Dato returns the right URL to get the cropped image.
And you have the focal point at the top. If you go all the way to the top, it's right there already. Focal point, keep going up. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, you already have it set up. Yep, as X and Y.
Okay, so run it. So, but it's, I don't know why
I see the actual.
not coming on. I don't know.
Where it's setting the focal point.
Let's go ahead. Otherwise,
yeah.
No time to go. Go back.
But at the end of the day, this allows you to have one image, and you can crop it into various versions with one image.
Exactly. This is super important for the editor to know that they can do it. Okay.
Exactly. Yep.
So reduce it. So another nice thing we can see is about the iSight menu. This is nice. The iSight menu is something that is created as soon as you create a model. As you can see, I've created Tome, and we have it here. But the iSight menu is something that can be edited by an admin, and it should be useful for the editors to navigate on the models they have. The iSight menu is a tree, and you can add, you can rename, and this doesn't affect and you can remove the items for a menu. This doesn't mean that I have removed the model, of course. This is just the menu for them. And you can add different kinds of type, and you can move. Maybe I want to have the books first, and inside the books I have the models related to the books. So editors, if they want to define the dictionary of the licenses, they know that they are here, or maybe they want to know the collections of the books. They know they're here. So you can add voices, items here. You can add 3 kinds of items. For example, I want to add again tome. Once again, I suggest to use emoji. I love them because they are a visual reference. I can say use the tomes, and you can relate this item, the label, to a specific model. For example, here, tome, save the menu, and here I have. So maybe tomes are a special version of the books. And let's say I want to show you in larger. And you can add external links that for editors might be useful, because maybe you have style guides or you have documentation of the company you work for, and they want the editors to have access. Or maybe, for example, we can add the DatoCMS documentation because they're using it. No, so we can say help Dato docs and point to an external URL. That's easy, and open in a new tab, show as menu. And so you can personalize this as you want. And this is something you can do it for the editors. They would appreciate it, and it's going to save a lot of time. And then you can personalize the view. Then let's jump to the indexes of records. This is quite important to know. When you have a new model, this is the default view. Here we have the books, and that's why we have a lot of information. This is the default version of the index of tables. Now we have to understand that there are two different views for the indexes, and you have to decide these views when you set up a model. You can see the index as a table, or you can see it as let's say that maybe I have collection here as an I sidebar. So which is the difference? It's just a matter of how to represent the resource. It's always the same thing. These are two different collections, but they're still collection. And maybe here it's easier to jump. This is good when you don't have hundreds or thousands of records. You just have a few of them and you want to access quickly. And maybe I want to go to the New Age collection. I want to change the name here and save, and then I want to go to Poetic and go ahead. You can search for this. How can you do it? You go to collection. In the edit model, you can change how to show this the index of this special model, compact view or tabular view. Okay, if you save it and I go back to the content editing, now I can see I have a table showing the list of the same items. Of course, I have to click to get into the. So this is good for articles, for products, or blah blah blah. Then this view, the table view, you can personalize as you wish. What does it mean? You can add columns. And this is, for example, I want to see who are the authors of this book. And I want to see the SPN, the ID. I want to see, I don't know, the name of maybe the highlights. Maybe we have an highlight field here. Just the highlight books goes onto the home page, for example. I can move, for example, the last updates, and I want to see the SPN as a very first field, and I can personalize the view, and of course I can do the things we usually do with tables. Now, why I'm showing you this, because this is not something you can save for your editors. This is something saved on the session of your browser. Not every session is written, of course. When you log in, you can find it again in the same browsers, on the same browser. But if you can save for the rest of the editor. So this is something you should teach to your editors, because maybe they won't see it, and they are able to do it because every user can do it. You can make filters. For example, you can add show me where highlight is true, and now I have all the highlighted books, and you can chain the created greater than 2020. I don't know if there are books here, maybe 2021. Let's see if there are less. And what you can do here, or maybe it's better if I do this as a format. I know that they have is ebook, maybe should be something like that. Yeah. Okay. So this query show me the book that are highlighted that are ebooks. So they have the EPUB. What I can do here is I can save this filter. So I can save the current search as a filter. I can give it a name. So highlighted EPUBs. I can save it. And now I will have it forever and ever. This is saved for you. But what we can do is to save this for all of the users. So if we can prepare a set of queries for the editors and and they can use it. Well, that's it. I don't know if I was too quickly. I finished, Marcelo, and I don't know if you want to go deeper in something more.
No, that was great. No, you covered quite a bit. I think that is you've answered all the questions too that people had too. So thank you very much. I think they have a pretty good idea now with the columns here. What's important to understand is, like you said, it's saved at the cookie level. So that means if you clear your cache, your cookies, then it'll be gone, and you'll have to recreate that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's very important for people to understand that. No, you did fantastic. Thank you so much, Mateo. Really appreciate it. If people want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Oh, on social networks, of course. Otherwise, on our websites, they can get in touch through.
And you have a presenter page on my site too.
Yeah, it's okay. It's don't do marketing. And thank you very much for your invitation.
I'm glad to have you here, and I hope to have you back for maybe we can do a whole one on just image processing, because you guys using, I think on the back end you guys use ImageX if I'm not mistaken.
Let me save the fail I had before.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No, but the important part over there is understanding the focal point is so you don't have to have multiple images. Anyway, Mateo, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And thanks to the rest of you. I hope you enjoyed this lesson of the Focus on DatoCMS course. I got many more lessons coming up, so stay tuned for that. Until the next one. Oh, before I say that, remember, email me right there, marcelo@headlesscreator.com. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a question there. If you don't have an account, for those of you watching live, please get your free account at headlesscreator.com. For those of you that have it already, thank you so much. All right, until the next lesson, have a great one, everybody.